We're speaking to Hind and Haroon, brother and sister, who along with their mother gave us a demonstration of Islamic prayer, and now they're going to tell us what they've done. First of all, could you tell us when this is done and what it is?
This is a prayer, and it was done, it's a 2 rak'ah prayer, so it is not...
What is a rak'ah?
A rak'ah is the unit of prayer. There are 5 prayer times. The morning prayer, and the noon prayer, and the afternoon prayer, and the sunset prayer, and night prayer. And each of them has different number of rak'ah. So we did here 2 rak'ahs, and it's not one of these official prayer. It's a prayer that is just performed voluntary, because it's not the time of prayer now.
So this is something that a Muslim would do when and for what purpose?
For just praying. It's not required, or it's not
a desire to get close to God. Is that why you would do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get into the individual elements, Hind, could you tell me what it was you were wearing?
I was wearing abaya, and this is we are assuming that the prayer takes place in the mosque. And this is how we go to mosque in our country. And if we are going to perform the prayer at home, then we're going to wear a prayer shawl, which is just a fabric or different kind of fabric. And this abaya is covering my whole body and hair. And the only parts that's supposed to be shown during prayer for me as a woman is my face and my hands and my feet. And then I did, before the prayer, everybody had to perform wash to prayer. And usually in mosque there are special places for that. They're like faucets at special heights, and we do that, by running water. But I just, for this, had this kind of
What did you do in the wash? I mean, what would you do?
There is a particular sequence, and I washed first my hands 3 times, and then my face, and then I have to wash the inside of my mouth and my nose 3 times each, and then my arms, and then my hair, and then my feet.
Just the women do this, or men and women?
Men and women, everybody.
What does it mean?
Just to me,
purify.
Yeah.
It's like a cleansing, so you go into the presence of God having been cleansed.
Yeah, and it has to be done 5 times.
And at the beginning, Haroon, there was you were singing that beautiful prayer off camera. What were you saying in that prayer, and what did it mean?
It's basically calling people to come to prayer, and calling them to leave whatever they're doing, because the best thing that they can do is praying right now. So come to the best thing that's doable right now. That's part of the singing.
And where would that sound be coming from if you were in your native country?
From the mimbar.
That's the tower?
Minaret. Yeah.
And so you would have climbed up to that thing and shouted into a microphone or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nowadays they don't have to climb, they just put the mics up. But
and you had all that stuff memorized? I mean, how did you do that?
The prayer?
Yeah.
The Quran is arithmetic, so
let me stop you. All of the words that we're using are from the Quran?
Yeah.
No, not the call to prayer.
Not the call to prayer.
But the other stuff, and what do you mean by arithmetic?
It's very easy to remember, because it has the same ending sequence, it has the music into it. So a lot of people memorize the whole book. Many people memorize it, and a lot of people, back home, everybody at least memorized part of it, because it's not that hard.
It wasn't hard. Yeah. So break down the prayer into the different sequences, because you spoke standing, you did some things in other physical positions. How does that sequence, and what do the different sequences mean? Like the standing up, the sitting down, the kneeling, the putting your head to the ground, and how do you know what to do and when, and what does it mean? What's the sequence, first of
The
all?
sequence is you're standing up.
And you're saying what?
You start by your opening prayer, which you thank God and you pray for guidance and to be in the right path. And then you take whatever verse that come to your mind in the Quran. After that, you can say whatever verse that.
And so you were standing in front, you were saying verses from the Quran, is that correct?
Yes, but in the beginning you have to say the beginning prayer.
There are certain things that had to be said in every unit. Every time you stand up, you have to say it.
What? What do you have
the
to say?
opening surah of Quran, and it's called Al-Fatiha, and it has to be said in every rak'ah.
Could you tell us what it means?
Oh,
The opening?
it's
long?
It's long,
Okay.
yeah. But it starts with thank God.
Thanking God and
Thanking
asking
God.
for guidance and to be in the right path.
Yeah, what he said. And then he actually read Surah Maryam, the verse of Mary in Quran. And he did that after Al-Fatiha. So you say Al-Fatiha and then one other thing that what you choose it.
Yeah, this is the story of Mary, the same Mary that one sees in the New Testament.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Quran talks about Mary in the New Testament and Jesus.
Yeah. In the beginning of the surah, it was there was.
I heard Zechariah there.
Yeah, Zechariah and
it was the surah is Maryam, but Zechariah in Quran he was the one who was taking care of Maryam. So he started by telling his story and then went to tell Maryam's
story when she gave birth to Jesus.
And so you're standing up and you're saying it, and at certain points you get on your knees, and at other points you put your head down to the ground. What does it mean to put your head down to the ground? Why do you do that?
It's in Islam the closest position you can get to God is when you're putting your
forehead on the ground.
That's the closest you can get,
and then if you have anything that you have a wish that it's very dear to you, and that's the time that you ask for.
Go ahead.
So when you're putting your head on the ground, you just open your heart and say whatever that you want, because you can feel when you're in that position. When I was there, I can feel that I'm close and something is opening, and I just want to open my heart and say whatever in my heart.
Now, Haroon, you were doing most of the talking, but the women in the back were saying some things too. What kind of things were you saying when he was? What kind of things were you saying in the prayer? You weren't reciting the surah, I assume, from the Quran.
If we are praying alone at home, we have to do what he did. We have to recite it. If he's doing it for us, we have to listen to him. And then what we said after I think you said that also in your heart, didn't you, Haroon?
Yeah.
Men have to say that in their heart.
Say what in their heart?
When we are in position of ruku', which is bending from your hip, you say Subhana Rabbil Azim, which means Almighty the Great, and you said that 3 times. And when you are on the floor with your head on the floor, you say Subhana Rabbil A'la, or that means God Almighty the highest. And then after that you said your prayer, your own prayer, whatever you want to say.
Okay, this is going to be looked at by students, most of whom know very little about Islam. What would you like them to know about Islam that they might be really ignorant of? Is there any kind of concluding remarks you want to give? Anything you want to tell my students about your religion and what it means to you?
Well, the prayer means there is a communication between a person and God, but it's also a social thing that everybody is united together, and the rows has to be
the rows of people praying.
There have to be
close
straight
together,
and
shoulder
close
to
together,
shoulder.
shoulder to shoulder, and the movement have to be
At the same time.
the same time. The imam, the person who is in the front, is starting.
Haroon was serving as the imam.
The
And
imam,
they
and-
give them a call to tell them when to go. So I would go Allahu Akbar to give them a head.
Which means what? Allahu Akbar. What does that mean?
God is great.
God is
God
great.
is great.
So anything else you want to say about the religion?
Maybe what I would like people to know is Islam is as Muslims consider it, is not very separate from Christianity. It's just a continuous thing of Christianity. So the teaching of it is not that different of it. And it bothers me sometimes when people refer to God in Islam as Allah. And because Allah, it's just a word that means God. It's not a separate God for Muslims.
It's the Arabic word for God.
Yeah, and it comes from the word Allahun, which is Elohim in Hebrew.
Which is the Hebrew word for God.
So it's just a word meaning God. It's not a separate God for Muslims.
I understand. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.